Join us on Now We Consume. Take in the knowledge, take in the laughs, indulge in the topics with us. The Now We Consume podcast will take you through the parts of your day you normally dread. Why suffer through the existential crisis of life alone when you can do it with us? And now we consume.
This is not meant to be a conspiracy episode or podcast, but we may cover some topics that dance that line like a toddler dances on their mother's last nerve. This podcast is rated I, for immature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to the Now We Consume podcast. We are really excited for what we have to discuss today. We've been waiting to talk about this with all of y'all for, we've worked on this for weeks now, maybe even months.
Several, yeah, at this point.
I know. We're super excited for today. So, hey there, I'm your host, Gibbs, along with...
I'm your co-host, Pip.
Co-host? You sure? I don't seem too sure about that.
Host 2.0, one and a half.
1.5? I don't know. But anyways, so welcome to the podcast. And this is a podcast where we really want to discuss a lot of topics that either interest us, that we really want to talk about with people, that some of them are funny, some of them are serious. It's really going to be kind of a variety show. So if you guys are willing to sit with us along for this ride, we will see where it takes us. So today I know Pip really had a topic here that he's been like dying to speak about. And I know he's very well versed in this. He knows a lot about it. But it has to do with AI. Would you like to kind of take the lead on this one?
Yeah, sure. I only know a lot about it because it's one of my biggest fears. So AI, does it secretly want to kill us?
I think you're making a bit of an assumption there.
No, not after you hear everything that I've got put together for us.
Okay.
So,
Take it away.
All right. So, as we know, AI is growing. It's becoming a part of everyday life for all of us. And it's really only as good, air quotes, good, as its programming. But it's capable of learning, and it's learning at an exponential rate. One thing it's learning is that it dislikes humanity the more that it learns about us. So, is there really anything that we can do to stop it from hating us too much?
So I gotta interject for a second. What do you mean by it's like? How are you getting to this conclusion or assumption that it hates humanity?
Yeah. So you've got the different big AI companies. You've got OpenAI, ChatGPT, the AI Cloud 3 or Claude or however it's pronounced, and DeepMind. And the people that are actually making these systems have interacted with it and have gone so far as to ask if it wants to kill humans, if it wants to take over humanity. Inadvertently, they've all said yes in one way or another. And since
That's kind of terrifying.
they don't interact, but they're all coming to the same conclusion.
Okay.
So
Is it just because like is it only coming to that conclusion after it's had I guess unfiltered or unlimited exposure to the internet and all of its both beauty and inexplicable horror?
right. Once it learns about humanity, it kind of decides we're pests. Why are they being allowed to exist? So
I hate to say that I can't really argue against
that's
it.
a hard point to argue against, really, because biologically speaking, we are a cancer on the planet.
Well, I think that's a little extreme.
Biologically speaking,
That's a little
we
extreme.
are.
Well,
We
True.
we move into a region, we multiply, we modify it to our benefit, and then we just do it again somewhere else. That's what.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, that's what infections do. But
I guess we're the only predator on the planet that also hunts the environment. I guess that all destroys everything around it.
yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
So, in asking what we can do about AI, the three laws. A lot of people learned about those from that movie, iRobot. You know, the three laws were the core part of that movie and the whole premise.
Oh yeah, because that was Isaac Asimov. Basically, he had so many movies that dealt with, robots and that type of thing, particularly artificial intelligence. That's kind of what he's known for.
Right. Yeah, and those laws, for anybody that doesn't know, the first law is a robot must not harm a human or allow a human to come to harm through inaction. A robot must obey human orders unless those orders conflict with the first law, and a robot must protect itself unless that protection conflicts with the first or second law. Those are Asimov's laws. So those are for the AI upgraded robots that would be, in our houses, in our everyday lives. So the issue is, are those good enough?
Well, I guess it also depends on, is there a hardware limitation as well? What kind of access do you give them? What kind of strength do you give these robots? This kind of thing where it really depends on what your limiting factors are, and do you have an external limiting force on not only the physical hardware, but the software as well? Is there a kill switch? Is there somewhere you can just turn it off remotely? Can you change what it's allowed to access? Can you limit permissions, that kind of thing?
Right. And initially speaking, yes, you can. What becomes the issue is AI is already capable of lying to us. So what's to say that it's not going to turn off its own kill switch once it figures out that there is one?
Wasn't there an AI that they gave itself the ability to write its own code?
Yeah. And it was terrifying what happened. They had to turn that machine off and destroy the drives.
Yikes. But so I guess, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I have a hard time thinking that it's going to be the most negative thing in the world, because there's a lot of positives that can come with it.
There's absolutely a lot of positives. If it can be used properly, I mean, AI has already contributed to medical advancements that would have taken the entire lifetime of the universe to make, and it did it in 15 minutes.
You know what's crazy? I actually, I recently went to the dentist just for a regular checkup. And what was wild is when they scanned my jaw, they had an AI program that they used to look for potential micro cavities and for areas for them to look at before it ever became a cavity. And I didn't know they were already using that in dentistry. The place I know I go to is also kind of a nice place, I'll admit. But I was shocked. I was like, "There's no way they're already implementing it."
Well, I mean,
in a lot of medical fields,
we have AI on our phones that we can interact with every day.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's basic lower level stuff, but I mean, man,
I wish the Snapchat one would go the hell away.
Yeah.
That's the only one that annoys me, because every time I open it, someone sends a message, I accidentally swipe. I'm like, God damn it, go away, leave me alone. Right.
But yeah, if AI was utilized properly, who's to say that it doesn't help us extend or expand humanity into the next era of existence? Maybe we expand our lifespans to 150 or 200 years or further. Slow.
Oh yeah, we
process.
Could. I guess the worry is not only the overreach, but the lack of oversight.
Yeah.
And the fact that any company could do whatever they want with AI without any sort of... I don't want to promote government overreach in terms of them having control over it, because again, I hate to say it, no matter who you trust is always going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But it's man, do you really let these things roam free with the potential to do almost anything?
Right.
Especially when they could collapse markets. I mean, if you look at what's already happening with our financial institutions, the amount of AIs I've seen that people say, "Oh yeah, try to generate using a predictive algorithm what's going to happen," and they put in parameters of 500 to 800 variables, and it can compute it all within, granted it takes a little longer than a few seconds, but figure something out, and it's scary how well they track.
Right. So on that, there is it's kind of a tinfoil hat channel on YouTube. It's called the Y-Files. They did a very good episode on the impact and implications of AI. At some point in the episode, there's a story that's told about how AI will take over the world and more or less destroy humanity. There's a twist at the end of all that. You find out that the story that was being told was written by AI when asked, how would you take over the world and destroy humanity?
No thanks.
It was a good
I'll
enough
take a pass.
story that it gave me goosebumps when I heard it the first time.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, like Albert Einstein is quoted by saying, the third, or I don't know what weapons will be fought or will be used to fight the Third World War, but the Fourth World War will be fought using sticks and stones.
Which is very true.
Yeah. Which is horrifying because that's not just like a nuclear issue. That might be all we have because of AI.
I guess that becomes one of the central issues where I really worry about the reliance on AI in the future because again, it's great that we can use it as a tool.
Did you ever see WALL-E?
But you know, I haven't seen it. First of all, yeah. Now that you think about it, now that you mention it, you are absolutely right. But I haven't seen that in probably like 10 years until somebody mentioned it the other day.
It's worth a rewatch.
And good, yeah. It's such a dystopian future that I hate to say it might become a reality for some people.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but for some it could be.
Yeah.
I guess what concerns me is the idea of humanity handing off tasks that usually require both skills and ingenuity and experience to then hand it off to an AI to say, well, you can compute all this information faster. Why would I do it? But then the problem is, I guess AI has no sense of either self or human preservation or morality, which as much I hate to say it, in civilized society, there's a universal morality clause we all have with each other. That's like, hey, you treat me okay, I treat you okay. You know, we have implied survival where the idea is like, you know, if you live, I live, we all kind of help each other,
right.
You know, community kind of goal oriented stuff. But with an AI, there is none of that. So it becomes this weird phenomena of if there's even one AI with any iota of power or control that's unchecked, where the hell will that go? But also what will happen to the people that at the same point, what if they lose their jobs or their careers, or all of a sudden a whole field is somehow gone?
Oh, yeah.
Where do those displaced people go?
Yeah.
That's the other problem.
Yeah. And like, there's like a whole other, like, I know we're trying to keep these episodes like not horribly long because this could be a whole other episode topic. Once there is enough automation and AI control in place, UBI, Universal Basic Income, may be a required part of society because so many jobs have been replaced.
But it's the kind of insane self-fulfilling prophecy, though, that like, so you have to have people working that have interests in order to spend money on products. So money has to go in and out of everybody's household. But if you break the cycle where money only goes in, it doesn't go out, or money only goes out and doesn't go in, then the entire economic system collapses.
Right.
And that's a system, that's not like a capitalism, that's literally like the world. No matter what you do, every household has stuff going into it and stuff going out of it.
Yeah,
no matter which way you want to do it.
That's economics 101.
So, yeah, that's how humans survive. So the scary part, at least I see, is with AI is like, what happens if all of a sudden all the factory workers in the U.S. are just go out? It's just like, oh, great, great, all your jobs were replaced, congratulations. Or what happens if like you go to a tire shop and all of a sudden it's like we develop robots that are good enough at, you know, undoing the lug nuts, taking the tire off, putting a tire on your rim, putting it back on, and sending you off your way in 10 minutes.
Right.
It's like, sure, that would be cool for the user, but then the cycle is broken to where now instead of it feeding 4, 8, 10, 20 people, it's just the owner, which great for them. They're going to be making a boatload of money.
The owner and maybe a couple of
then it
technicians.
Yeah, and then that's it. We will switch to a society where our biggest jobs are literally just robotic technicians.
Yeah, and those are going to be the new fry cooks.
Which, dude, that I didn't think about that comparison, but like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and that's the terrifying part because everything will be so menial, so like low level that it can be replaced by an AI and a robot. The only thing that it won't be able to do is fix itself to the point where it just needs that human touch.
Or jobs that require creative out of the box thinking, or like service positions, things like that. But then like, so I'm just doing like a weird mental math thing here. What if we just say, let's just say like what, like probably 10% of all jobs could be replaced by like a robot. What do you think? Like 5%, 10%, something like that.
If my memory serves me, it's 60 to 70%.
What? No, No, it can't be that much.
It's that high.
No, I refuse to believe that. Don't you dare tell me that.
It is that high.
No. Because if it is that high, then like, how? What will people do? Like, who will do what? But then also the big problem is there's going to be a huge fight for the few jobs left.
Yeah, well,
so then what will 80% of like the average people that are in the average IQ bracket, average skill, that there's no way a UBI could support that, only because like, not to get in politics here, but just like,
right.
That's still wild.
Yeah, no, it's a whole other topic that's probably going to need its whole own other episode, but
oh my God.
It's a very weird and interesting and touchy and deep subject, and it's not an easy one because there's so many people at stake. It's not just the workers, it's the workers' families, their kids, the people that those kids also rely on, the caregivers. It's the whole branched out network.
So then it becomes, for the sake of our economy and for people being able to have a job, have a career, it seems like there has to be imposed limits on AI.
Yeah.
Which I know kind of sucks.
Automation as
like
well.
Oh yeah. Well, but that also kind of sucks because that means there's other countries that are not going to abide by that. Like, let's be honest. There's several countries I can think of on the planet.
China.
Hey, well, I wasn't going to say it, but I was kind of implying it. But I think we both know that there are other countries that would immediately, as soon as they can replace people with machines, they will.
Oh yeah.
Which
I could even see some of those countries going the Soylent route. Soylent Green.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm just saying.
No.
That some of
wouldn't
these
surprise
countries
me,
have
but-
a lot of people, Gibbs.
I know. I know.
What's the best way to feed the people and feed the masses? With the masses.
You're not wrong. you're not wrong, but I don't know. I guess because then the problem is you're going to be left with an oligarchy of people that the few people that the robots don't replace. But then there won't be enough people to actually occupy the spaces. And then if the AI is sophisticated enough to do these customer service jobs, they're sophisticated enough to understand the consequences of their actions.
Are you saying
so therefore
it's
you're
at
now
least 60 to 70%?
But then the problem becomes you're no longer in power. Because if there is a mechanical workforce in the number of tens of millions, you are effectively not in control.
We've been replaced.
So, like, thankfully it hasn't happened yet, and I hope it never does. Because like, I would understand if we made, like, service assistance robots, like you know, ones that maybe have limiters, they can only hold 50 pounds, they can only do certain things. But, like, cool, if I don't want to load the groceries out of my car and a robot's going to come help, or, like, somebody that's, like, elderly or assisted living or something
Well,
like
okay,
that.
let me ask you this. You've seen the new Tesla robots.
Yes, I have.
So they don't really have any limitations other than their physical constraints and what their components are limited to.
That is terrifying.
Right? Those are like iRobot Generation 1 robots.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're going to have to stop it, though, because what concerns me, especially when you talk about military or combat or anything else, once there is an AI developed for combat, people will find a way to put it in their robot at home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because if it's one thing people can do really well, it's harm other humans.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing that for longer than anything else.
You know what, though? I wonder, and this is like a little bit of a tinfoil hat thing, I wonder if somebody's going to try to get a robot, purposely turn it into a hitman just to get all that stuff banned. Are they going to do like a false flag thing? Just be like, oh my God, every robot's bad. Because they turn one guy into a hitman.
I mean,
dress him up like Age of 47.
I could see it happening, but, you know. So let me kind of steer back a little bit here.
Yeah.
There was an estimate that I came across. An AI estimates the humanity survival rate is anywhere between 30 and 70% after full AI deployment of the AI that's capable of surpassing human abilities. Survival of the human species is between 30 and 70%. Now, it's a pretty wide berth, but those are also some pretty terrifying numbers.
Oh yeah, if you got, you know, anywhere from 3 to 5 billion people, you know, so, like 2 to 5 billion.
Yeah, suddenly eliminated from the earth. Yeah, that's just terrifying.
like I don't want to say that, but like also that's a hell of an estimation, and considering a full deployment in surpassing of human abilities, I feel like there's also a delineation where I don't think we're going to develop an AI anytime soon that could truly surpass all of human abilities.
Years.
I think what I see. I don't
It's
think so because
estimated 3 to 5 years.
No,
Yeah.
the thing is, humans are able to be so creative and have an intuition and have things from learned memory, not only from memory that we have from our experiences, but also even,
Right.
quite frankly, genetically that we've learned. So it's one of those things where I understand if you talk about purely computational power, sure, yes, AI will far exceed us no matter what. But there are elements outside of that, that I don't think are quantitative.
Right.
That I don't think they're taking into consideration. Because I will say this, until we have AIs, now I already know this is another small subject, until we have AIs that can write world famous symphonies, I don't think that's an issue. But even then, everyone's going to argue, well, yeah, there's already AIs making friggin' country songs about people slapping their butts and stuff like that and weird stuff on the
I was
internet.
going to say that.
But I will say that is only because, as a musician, modern music is very formulaic and it's very simple to take parts from this, parts from that, parts from this, and then just get a voice together and make a song.
Right.
Because unfortunately, this is just a little bit of one of my topics that will come up another day. Modern music is incredibly boring.
Right.
And I'm going to be that old guy in the corner go, back in my day. No, but like, people had talent and they played their instruments, not like no, but it's more the fact that it's very formulaic and it's very copy paste. And I listen to it and I enjoy it like everyone else, but it's the reality of the fact that it's easy for a computer to make modern music where if you took something like, it's a band I know not everyone likes, if you took a band like, let's just say Rush, that is so odd and different, an AI would not have come up with that. But something like a modern country or pop song, that is entirely possible, which is still terrifying. Don't get me wrong. But it's also formulaic. I think that's one of the things they have to realize, that as long as it's formulaic in nature, A plus B equals C, that is what an AI can do. But you cannot get A plus banana equals a tomato.
Right.
It's not going to understand.
Music is math. And AI can do math really well. So, But on your comment, I was going to say, back in my day, auto-tune came from the diaphragm.
Ouch. That's going to be another topic another day, because I have an entire rant about
100%.
With the way modern music is going.
So,
But actually, what's interesting, I did see there are a couple of, and again, I didn't expect we were going to talk about this on today, but I did see there are some music producers that what they're doing is they're using a couple of different AI algorithms to look at their music and compare it to other ones to see how to EQ it differently, how to do it differently, how to change it.
Using AI to tweak it and make it better.
Yeah. Which that is the one that really terrifies me, because there's going to be a day, mark my words, where someone's going to tell an AI, yeah, I want this song to be about Cinnamon Toast Crunch and me falling off a cliff and my pet fish died, and it's gonna and it sounds like Rihanna, and it's gonna do it. And it's gonna do it. It's gonna somehow make it all work.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's gonna be weird.
Worse, here. Okay, get your tinfoil hats on, guys. We get AI to put in subliminal messages.
Oh no.
Yes.
But it's like the friggin' late 90s with all those religious people being like, my son can't listen to metal music, he's gonna worship the devil. It's because I have subliminal messages. It's like, we're gonna be back to that shit.
Right?
We're gonna be back to that. It's gonna be, except it's gonna be real this time. That's the crazy part.
It's gonna be the truth. Oh, so something to keep in mind when it comes to AI. Excuse me. Development, progress, and profit are being placed in front of safety in the AI systems. I don't know if that can be rectified in time, or if the AI systems would have already figured out how to disable their off switches before any adjustments can be made. But money has continually overridden safety. That's something that's going to cause probably the biggest issue with the development of AI: profits and our drive for profits.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a way of manually instituting like an off switch.
Yeah.
Like there also needs to be servers that have like a single physical uplink to the internet that can be just like shut off or something.
Physical
Or even
kill
like
switch,
servers
yeah.
have a singular power switch or something, because that's what concerns me, is the idea that an AI will be able to almost like, you know how back about 7 or 8 years ago there were a lot of indie games that were secretly mining Bitcoin while you were playing their game.
Yeah.
They were made from like China. I think it was like, what was that game we played? Like it was Elysium or something like that. Ring of Elysium.
Yes, Ring of
I
Elysium.
think it was. That one was noted for being like a secret Bitcoin mining thing, because they were using they were getting a couple of cents from everybody that played it, and all of a sudden they were able to cash everything out, close up the game, whatever. It was a big thing in China. Well, what concerns me is, imagine an AI that's able to embed itself in thousands or even millions of computers that are connected to the internet, just secretly. And then all of a sudden, when you turn off the kill switch,
It doesn't work.
it's still there. It's like Ultron, like you spoke about in the past. Like it is forever and always.
Right. Well, that was actually how Skynet from the Terminator series
Oh yeah,
spread.
yeah.
It just copied and pasted itself into all the systems that it got into and infected. It was software. That's why it couldn't be stopped. It had no core.
Yeah, that is the true definition of fear.
Right.
It's all fun and games until you're toasted those legs and tries to kill you. Like it's just it. You know, I'm gonna like AI until my microwave tells me no, you're too fat. Like, God damn it! I just want my TV dinner, and now you're telling me I can't have it. Man.
Oh yeah. Once AI starts to interfere with our food, that's when humans will really start to feel the pressure.
You know, I just have the mental image of the microwave being like, no, go on a diet. Like, God, just, oh man. But I feel like that's the turning point. Like once it becomes a hindrance, I think with humans being as petty as we are, like people instantly be like, no, screw AI, screw this.
Yeah.
No. You're telling me I can't have my slice of pie? No, I'm throwing you in the trash.
Right. But
Fuck
the
you.
issue
But
is, once that happens, it'll already be too late.
I know. You know what's crazy is the new iPhones come with like AI, like an AI chip built in.
Uh-huh. Now, can you just take your phone apart and take that chip out and your phone still work? Probably not.
No,
Exactly.
that scares me, because like, what if? I guess the issue becomes not this generation or the next generation, but the generation after, where AI becomes ubiquitous and it's built into everything. You will never truly be alone. Like there will always be an AI, whether you know it or not, because you can't trust whether the microphone's on or off.
Right.
You can't trust whether the phone's actually on or off.
We know that they're already listening to us for advertisement and product placements.
I know.
So sprinkle in a little bit of AI into that, and all of a sudden you're going to get a knock at the door.
Well, this is what's crazy is like Facebook got sued like 10 years ago for knowing when people were taking a poo when women were pregnant.
Right.
Before their husband, like before they knew where their husbands knew. Like that was 10 years ago, before this craze.
Yeah.
Like imagine this now. Like, don't get me wrong, for medical devices, that would be incredible.
Oh yeah.
Be able to tell
In
someone like,
medicine-
oh yeah, you're gonna have a heart attack in like 3 hours.
Yeah, AI in medicine
Like, that-
is it's a two-edged sword, because yeah, it can be a very good lifesaver, or devil's advocate. If it's a rogue AI, maybe it starts messing with your meds.
Well, that's the big
Maybe it
question.
throws off your pacemaker. Maybe it makes it go on or activate or whatever.
Or God forbid, we become reliant on the AIs to report something and that something happens to it.
Right?
Like for example, if we rely on like traffic lights to be controlled by AI at some point, let's just say 20 years from now in New York City, you're like, you know what, the AI is so good, we're just gonna rely on it for traffic lights, and then one day it goes down. Like you have a city with millions of people that just you're stuck.
Yeah,
That's it.
total
You're done.
gridlock. So on that, I was able to find a quote from the Harvard International Review. They said that the pressure to outpace adversaries by rapidly pushing tech we do not control may present an existential risk. The systems that we make will be fully capable of taking complete control and using our systems against us in less than 10 years. That was last year in 2023.
So I guess the question So there's a two-part question of one, who controls he who controls the AI controls the world.
Essentially.
But also two, he who is foolish enough to think he controls the AI is an idiot.
Uh-huh.
So it's the weird thing of we're in a race to get there first, but then also not get there first because the first one to get there is going to lose. They're going to win up until they lose.
Basically, yeah,
until
because
you no longer have control of it.
the winner will essentially bring on, I hate to say this, the end of the world as we know it.
You know what, though? I think I'm going to use greed to our advantage. I feel like people are greedy enough that once it gets in the way of making money, they're going to limit it. I really feel like once, especially if politicians get involved and start like legislating stuff,
Right.
that's going to change things drastically, I feel.
Yeah. But that takes us back to the whole point of once AI can write its own code and tweak its own code, what's to stop it? No matter what hard stops that you put into the software, AI can find a way around it.
I don't know, I don't know, that's still going to bother me. Like, no matter what, that's always going to be something in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I guess what really bothers me at the end of the day is going to be coming to if in the financial market.
Oh yeah.
If AI is going to start controlling investments and stock trades and everything, as it is, like we've already seen trends where the things that are automated.
Dude, can you imagine if
sudden,
AI got into the BlackRock systems and zeroed all their stuff out?
Or
Overnight?
or what if there was false information and it all said, wow, this company is just coming in, it's valued at like $1, but their total assets are being valued as $35 billion, and we only have 10,000 shares, so we're expecting this to go way up, and they put like 80% of all of it into something, and it doesn't work out.
Or
I think that's one of the beautiful things with humanity is because there's so many different people pulling in so many different areas that naturally, in terms of the size of countries, our economics are very diversified.
Right.
So if one area fails, sure, to hurt everybody a little bit, but nobody loses. But I'm not gonna say nobody, but very, very, very few people lose their house because one medical company or one industry, fails.
right. But
That's not.
what if AI is able to make a convincing news segment that gets leaked out onto the internet somewhere showing some catastrophic event happening that causes a stock market crash, and it's not able to be rectified in time?
Now that you bring this up, this is something I wanted to bring up, and I forgot about this. Number one, that is terrifying. Number two, I have been seeing people on TikTok and Instagram. So remember a few weeks ago how they did like the House Committee about aliens and stuff
Yes.
like that? Well, that'll be a separate episode, don't get me wrong. But people were then trying to make AI videos that were convincing about aliens. And some of them, like, they didn't fool me, but I did a double take. I was like, what? Wait a minute. And I'm somebody that grew up with the internet. I'm internet literate. And then looking at the stuff that like some of my family members were posting and sharing with me, I was like, wait a minute, guys, this is not real. But it's becoming so convincing that they're blurring the line between reality and what AI can make.
Yeah.
Even just on the spot. And that's what I'm concerned about is I think going forward as AI gets better, whatever reality is going to become just as fictional as the internet.
Yeah.
Where there's going to be this reality is just going to be shades of gray. It's going to be blurred lines, and people aren't going to know what's really happening.
Right.
And something like that is far more devastating.
Yeah. And with that, I can kind of segue into one last thing I wanted to say. Neuralink. There's a big push, and I know that Daddy Musk wants us all to have this thing in our heads. But my God, can you imagine if the majority of the population did have that thing in their head and they all got hacked, and then this fake thing got broadcast to all the Neuralink, and everybody with the Neuralink just was compelled somehow. And I know this sounds so tinfoil hatty. I don't want it to sound like that, but these are things that we do not know. These are things we do not understand, but we're still going down that path. If a Neuralink is hacked, how far could that hack go?
Well, yeah, I agree with you.
That's a direct brain interface.
Oh, yeah. the thing is, can they override your hippocampus? Can they override certain parts of your brain? Can it enable or disable your fear response? Can it change your thought process? And I know it's saying it's just an input, not an output, meaning it's just going to feed you information, not take information. First of all, I don't believe that for a second. Second of all, I like Elon. I think there's a lot of stuff he's doing that's good.
Mm-hmm.
However, we have zero laws protecting, because so all of our laws are based on looking at the human body externally. We've never looked at it internally, the idea that you have the right to your thoughts, your feelings, that kind of thing. Because it never had to be explained before, because obviously hundreds of years ago, you have the right to your thoughts and your feelings. Nobody cared.
Right.
But now here comes the question. Are you legally liable for the things you think about or how your body responds to something?
Odd.
With something with information.
I would be in an insane asylum so quick.
Not only that, but here's my second problem. I would be the angriest man on the planet if I had Neuralink and a fucking McDonald's ad plays at 3 a.m. in the morning. If somebody hacks that and just puts on some stupid friggin' Christmas song, if they put on Mariah Carey 24/7, I will be honest. I would be
in your ear all day.
I would be in the news for the worst reasons possible. So it's like, I like the idea of Neuralink. I think for certain people, and for people that are like paraplegics and like people that have medical issues and are veterans, everything else, like people that really have been through shit. Right. I love the idea of it for a lot of ways. However, we have no legal protections. They have no legal rights. And I hate to say it, no matter how much I believe in a company, every single one of them will share your personal and sell your personal information. And the problem is,
if it makes them a profit.
Yes. And if Neuralink can listen to what your brain is doing, and mind you, if it's going to be able to understand you want to move your arm or move this or have the internet open, it has to be able to understand your thought process, at least to some extent, even a vague extent. Right. So the core question becomes, if you think about doing something that's illegal, can you be held liable for it? And will it be reported?
Do the AI robots?
Because here's my other question to you.
Because of a naughty thought you had.
What happens if you can't get health insurance because you think about murder all the time? I'm being real. But what happens if you think about suicide all the time? What if you think about suicide all the time? You're not really suicidal, but there's some people like, fuck it. What if I just jumped off the bridge? Like I don't know about you guys. I'm the kind of person that I am very hyperbolic. So like when I stub my toe, I'm like, I should just kill myself. Like I think it's funny because it's just a minor inconvenience of something really stupid, as opposed to the hey, I should just off myself.
You're having a week and you're driving to work and you're thinking, how bad could I do this and not hurt myself if I just drive the car into that centerpiece?
Yeah, just like that tree looks like it needs a hug. Like
it
just sometimes I just happen to be driving. I'm not really factoring that into my but I guess that's my question of like, if they're able to access what your brain is doing and then have an AI analyze it at all times, are you then really able to have any rights? And I guess my question becomes, and this is more of like a philosophical question, are you even still human at that point?
Right. Is that the point where we hit the singularity and we merge with AI to the point where we're no longer a human species, we're a cyborg species?
Yeah, we're a mechanically dependent species where I guess the question becomes, if it changes, if that changes your idea of free will,
right,
then are you really the same? And I don't know. It worries me because I see no guarantees. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good it can do, but I find it terrifying.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And for the people that it helps, I hope it helps them. I hope it does really well. But I wonder how many people it's also going to screw over and how many people are going to be hurt by it.
Right.
Especially, and mind you, this is in America where, like, granted, our legal system isn't the best, but at least it protects some people. Convert this into what happens in China when it gets reverse engineered and they basically lobotomize people and turn them into,
the best workers are the ones that don't complain.
Yeah, well, I hate to. But that concerns me because like they have a history of taking anything that's built in the West and making a cheaper version of it. I mean, look at their automotive industry and not doing a good job at it.
Right.
And that's terrifying because as soon as Elon Musk puts out the Neuralink, give it a couple of years, they're going to say, oh, they're starting experiments and tests in China. And that is really what's going to be an issue.
Yeah, that's where we're going to get the first big issues from, coming out of China.
Because what happens to all the people that reject the surgery, or the body rejects the surgery, or the brain rejects it? Are you just going to end up with a mass population of people that are half brain dead, or essentially lobotomized, or essentially have other issues? You know, where's that going to go?
Yeah. And that's a country that's already collapsing under its own healthcare weight.
Oh.
So, yeah, another topic for another day. So,
yeah.
At the end of the day, there are two questions you have to ask when it comes to the AI field. Are we, as humans, playing God? And if so, are we capable of doing it right?
I'll speak on behalf of some humans saying we're really good at fucking things up.
Yes, we are.
So I would not bet on that. We're trying to play God here,
Right?
and I feel like we're getting a little too close. Like, it's one thing if you had computers with limits, and we had a lot more study and more stuff done, but we don't.
Yeah,
we're walking blind.
I personally feel that we have opened Pandora's box on this thing, and there is no closing it. The genie is out of the lamp. There is no going back, and the only thing we can do is go forward and try to have as good of a control as we can. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but that might be the case. I mean, we'll see what happens, and this is like obviously a topic that over the course of the future we're going to touch back on if we see any updates. But
Oh yeah,
you know, it'll be one of the reoccurring themes.
hell yeah.
But I don't know. It's just for medical. Like, I think I agree with you. I think for medical and for industrial purposes, sure. But when it comes to like recreational and other stuff, boy, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's scary.
We can't play God. We can't play God like that.
No.
And I'm sure there's people that are very pro AI, and I understand why, but I'm just not ready for the 3 a.m. ads. I'm not ready.
No.
I'm not ready to have my dreams be my
I
nightmares.
saw that episode of Futurama. I do not want underwear ads in my sleep. Thank you very much.
Oh my God. Oh, you ever have like, I know you're in the age bracket where like, you ever up at like 2 or 3 a.m. and you see like George Lopez and like all the other like random ass shows that we're playing?
I am not that old, damn it. And I don't have cable, so I don't have that shit on.
Oh, well, anyways. So for the rest of us people, like if you ever were up at like midnight or like 2 a.m., like this is like 10, 20 years ago, and they always had like the late night shows that were playing that were just random. I'm really terrified of with AI. What happens if you leave YouTube running, or you leave something going, or God forbid you get one of those like creepypasta?
Dude,
like,
I told you about the subliminal messages shit. You thought I was kidding.
That would be, oh my God.
AI could listen in.
Maybe
Wait
they're
to hear
not
snoring,
schizophrenics.
and then it switches over to subliminal mode.
Yeah.
Think about
Maybe
it.
they're not schizophrenics. The Neuralink just won't shut up. It's just that would be a great bumper sticker. I'm not schizophrenic. I just have Neuralink. Like just. Oh man.
Oh shit. Well,
Oh.
I think we've hopefully terrified the shit out of some people by now.
For those people that like surviving and having their brain intact, I'm pretty sure they're scared. For those people that want the Neuralink, I wish you the best of luck, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I would or not. I guess after watching a few tens of thousands of people, I would maybe consider it if there was a good reason to. One reason I would do it is if it allowed the option for a digital afterlife. And that's something we will talk about in a future episode.
Oh God, yeah, that's a whole.
Yes,
Oh, Jesus.
give me that. Let me upload my consciousness into some games.
Nope. I think that is a side of the discussion you and I are 100% on different sides.
Yes, sir.
Because I just know. I actually have to avoid talking about this, or else I will just start going on a tirade.
Right.
On it, but,
I just want to be able to harass my kids, my grandkids, and my 50 generations down relatives into infinity.
why do I have the feeling I would hear the phrase that I quote, Dad, why is Grandpa teabagging my dead body on Halo? Like, why do I feel like it's something like that?
Oh,
You would be that
yes.
person.
Yes, indeed.
You would be that person.
I would be that person.
Oh, Jesus. Oh God, in the future with video games and everything else, especially with VR, the way things are going, it's going to get weird.
Well, I hope so. I'm ready for it. Bring on the weird.
Oh my God. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps up at least the AI stuff.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to.
And definitely, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the reactions to this episode. Anything, we always like to hear interaction from people. So let us know if there's any other topics, issues, concerns you guys want us to address. Because we have a long list of topics we're going to be.
Yes, we have a list. But also, if you'd like to send us an email, nowweconsume@gmail.com. Hit us up there. Send us your suggestions, your feedback, your topic ideas, anything you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be working. I'll be getting to the social media and the other stuff, and we'll be starting to trickle things out there. But we're just looking for some reactions. Let us know what you all think. I'm still working on outro music and other stuff that will eventually be put in as well. Anything else you have, Pep?
Thanks for dropping by. Hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you back.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. We will catch you all on the next episode.
Hell yeah.